When all of you meet on the track, you are and should be fierce competitors with each other. And we would hope that every one of you does everything you can to strive to be the fastest down the track and the first across the line. But once you are off the track, all of you are no longer competitors with each other, but teammates of each other, in an effort that all of us are engaged in, which is so important and so much larger than any one individual accomplishment. You are athletes on the track, and you are ambassadors off the track. I hope that you will continue to compete fiercely, and I hope that you will continue to cooperate just as fiercely with each other as we all work towards this common goal of inclusion in these sports in the Paralympic program.
There's Mark.
I was a paratrooper with the 3rd Battalion in the Australian Army. I had a couple of parachute accidents which injured my legs and my back, and although I still walked after many surgeries and everything after that for years, my injuries just continually got worse. Until finally in 2008 I had to have a couple of serious spinal surgeries, and from there I ended up as an incomplete paraplegic.
In Afghanistan we were on a patrol and walked on the wrong bit of ground and caused a few roadside bombs and lost the old leg and most of the hand and sort of smashed up a fair few bones in the other arm as well. When you sort of first lose a leg and you're a little bit sort of down in the dumps and you don't quite know what you can do or what you can't do, and your life becomes a little less energetic than it was before, but you've got these opportunities to sort of carry on that, and it gets you back on your feet, and it makes you realise that there's a lot more that you can do, regardless of how many bits and bobs you've lost.
Us guys in chairs, we've had a lot of issues, medical issues and everything that have knocked us down time and time again, and you just got to keep getting up. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just to keep getting up.
I went through a few hard years with drug use. The police caught up to me. Ended up being a 3-hour standoff that day. When they found me, they thought that I had a weapon and they shot me 21 times. So I spent 3 months in a coma, 3 months in recovery, another 3 months in rehabilitation. And I still had my leg, but there was just so much damage that they ended up having to amputate it. It's just overcoming those obstacles. When you lose a limb, you have to work harder to do the same thing that able-bodied people take for granted. And so it's just pushing past those barriers and really taking accountability and saying, you know what, just because I'm missing a limb doesn't mean that I have to slow down. I can still live my life to the fullest and do what you can do too.
There's more disabled people who are actually able-bodied than what I am, because people get that mentality of they can't do things, and we just want to show the world that nothing's impossible and you can achieve all your dreams.
I've been in a wheelchair now for 10 years, and it happened July 19th on 2004. I was doing base jumping, and it was my 1100th base jump, and I wanted to do something special so I could remember that jump. And I was doing some flips, quadruple gainer from 486-foot high bridge, and I made a mistake and opened the parachute a split second too soon. So I hadn't finished the last rotation and my legs didn't quite finish, and the parachute came out and tangled around my foot, so I never had a chance to fully open. And I impacted the river doing somewhere around 70 or 80 miles per hour, 130 kilometers upside down on my neck, and I hit the water and then hit the bottom of the river and suffered a spinal cord injury. So.
My disability came about when I was in a motorcycle accident when I was 18 years old. A truck pulled out in front of me making a right turn on red. I got sucked under the car and it literally ripped my leg in half right at the accident scene. And if it wasn't for an off-duty officer at the time that was able to immediately wrap a belt around my leg, I wouldn't be here. There's multiple opportunities for people to come out, check out the sport, see if it's a fit for them, see if they can handle the G-forces, see if they can handle the pressure, the adrenaline, and the speeds that we undertake on every racetrack we go down.
It is a crazy sport, but it's there's nothing really that can be missing from your body that can prevent you from doing it.
You need to be mentally tough and be able to prepare properly, control the emotions, control the anxiety, and focus. And if you can do that, then the physical part of it you can train very easily. Everybody can train to get stronger, to get better. But the hardest part is mental toughness and being able to focus at the perfect time and mentally peak. So we all have some ups and downs, but we need to be able to wash out all the bad and focus only on the good, especially on race day.
We can push as fast as some able-bodied athletes. We can slide the tracks just as good, if not better, than some able-bodied athletes. And there's no reason we should be treated any different. And we're out there to prove to the world and the entire sport that we can slide just like the best in the world.
A lot of times with sports, it's so competitive that that there's no camaraderie between your teammates. But because the sport is so new, it's really great to get to know the other athletes. I think the next couple of years, it's going to quadruple in numbers. Like, we're going to have more and more athletes seeing what we're doing and want to come and experience what we're doing and get involved.
Get some! I'm going to get some!
Start Steven, start frei, track is clear.
I love Australia! But I love you!
We become really close friends, and there's times where after the training or before the training that as a group of athletes we'll sit down and discuss the track, and one guy will say, hey, this corner and the horseshoe, I found that if I do this it works really well, or oh, I've had trouble in this corner, what do you do? And we share those experiences. We share what works and what doesn't work. And sometimes as a collective, we'll each say, okay, listen, you work on corner 6 and I'll work on corner 8, and we'll figure out what's the best line. And then we share that so that, we both or all of us can learn from it, because we want the sport to be competitive, and we really are friends. So it's not about me trying to beat those guys. And it's the same with them. I think that as a collective, as friendships, we just want to see the sport get better. So if we all help ourselves or all help each other, But the reality is I'm not a young man anymore, so I would like to at least stay in the sport long enough to see it grow and build so that it can get bigger and bigger. I'll stick around until the young guys knock me off.
You know, my life is